Normally it's best to grow only one type of corn at a time, because if you grow two types together, they will cross even if you do nothing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to grow two types of corn together and cross one type but not the other. At the top of every corn stalk will be a tassel. That's where the pollen comes from, and that's important to know for this technique to work. When doing a cross, it's important to cross similar types of corn. For instance, if you crossed a sweet corn with a popcorn, you would end up with corn that wasn't that sweet and also didn't pop that well. In this cross, I'm crossing an ornamental flint corn and an ornamental popcorn, which is a type of flint corn. Since I want to cross the ornamental flint corn, but not the ornamental popcorn, I'm going to remove the tassels from the ornamental flint corn. It's important to make sure I remove those tassels before the ears emerge and get silk on them. As you can see, these ears are just barely starting to emerge from the stalk. The ornamental popcorn is slightly ahead and has a little bit larger ears. As you can see, I'm leaving the tassels on the ornamental popcorn. To remove the tassels on the ornamental flint corn, I'm just going to cut the stalk right below the tassel. I'm using some pruners for that, and it just takes a second to chop all of those tassels off. Once you remove the tassels, just keep an eye on them because some of them will try to grow back. One important thing to note is that the prevailing winds in our area during the summer are from the south. Since I'm removing the tassels from the ornamental flint corn, I planted it on the north side of the ornamental popcorn. Once the tassels of the ornamental popcorn opened up, they started producing pollen, and that pollen will pollinate both types of corn. The pollen falls on the silk of the corn ears. As you can see, both types of corn have ears that have silk on them. Since we removed the tassels from the ornamental flint corn, we know that that corn cannot pollinate itself and will be pollinated by the ornamental popcorn. Many times corn can produce tillers or suckers at the base of the plant, and those can grow up and produce tassels too, so you need to keep an eye out for those and remove any tassels that are produced. Now let's take a look at some of the corn that we harvested. The first ear is from the japonica ornamental flint corn, and since the color of it wasn't affected, we know that this color is dominant over the color of the ornamental popcorn. Since we removed the pollen-producing tassels from the ornamental flint corn, we know that the ornamental popcorn was pollinated by its own tassels. This popcorn is a result of another cross that I did several years ago and has been doing very well for me. That cross was between glass gem corn and a grocery store popcorn. Here's a look at that original cross. The two ears to the left are glass gem corn. Then the next ear is the grocery store popcorn, and the cross between the two is on the far right. Although one ear of the ornamental flint corn was unaffected, you can see that some of the kernels in these ears are slightly lighter in color. Although most of these ears show just a tiny bit of influence from the ornamental popcorn, one ear in particular showed quite a bit of difference. As you can see, this ear shows several different shades of the base color. So we know that that one stalk of ornamental flint corn had some slightly different genetics than the other stalks. As well as being interested in the ornamental qualities of this cross, I also wanted it to pop good, so I did some test popping of the darkest ear. And I was a little bit surprised that it really did pop very well. Although it popped well, the taste was subpar compared to my ornamental popcorn. With my ornamental popcorn, I do some test popping of some kernels from every ear and keep seeds from the ones that pop the best and taste the best. I was really pleased with how well the popcorn turned out this year. It popped well and it tasted very good. If you want to follow along and see how my cross does when I plant it this spring, be sure and subscribe and be sure and hit that like button. We'll see you next time.